everyone, this is Brian from ActiveMelody.com. Well, I got a request last week from someone asking for a Scotty Moore style lesson, and I thought that was a great idea for a lesson. Scotty Moore was the guitar player that played with Elvis in his early career, and so he played on songs like That's All Right and Mystery Train and all those kind of early Elvis classics. And so he's got a real nice kind of bluesy flair, rockabilly, a lot of influences in his style of playing. But I thought that would make for a nice lesson, so I pulled components of different Scotty Moore licks and kind of put them together into this composition. So I'm going to show you how to play everything that I played in the intro, note for note. We're going to break this lesson into two parts. So in this first part, we're going to look at the first half of what I played. So I'll show you how to do that in this video. If you want to know how to play the second half, as well as download the tablature and download the jam track, which I've got in two tempos. So I've got one that's up to tempo, and then I've got a slower one, so that if you're just getting started with this style of playing, it'll be a little easier for you to follow along. You can download all of that at ActiveMelody.com. Just look for EP073. So let's go ahead and get started in this lesson. Alright, so let me talk through the sounds that I'm using for this real quick. I'm using a Fender Stratocaster, but Scotty Moore was usually seen playing, at least back in the Elvis days, a big Gibson hollow body L5 or something along those lines. And so this is not the type of guitar that he would use, but I just grabbed it for this lesson, and I thought, you know, I could make it work. And the Strat is always I always get questions, you know, what's your favorite guitar? I always go to the Stratocaster just because it's so versatile, and you can get just about any sound you want out of it, and it's easy to play too. So plus I don't have an L5, so anyway, the only other thing to mention, it's pretty much clean channel. I am using a little bit of delay, so you can hear it's called slapback. So as soon as I hit that, you can hear a little bit of an echo there. And I just have just a little bit of that going. I've turned it down actually for the demonstration part of the lesson, just so that it'll make it easier for you to understand what I'm doing. But I use a TC Electronic. It's called Flashback. It's a pedal that's pretty standard. And I want to say they're in the $150 to $200 price range, somewhere around there. But if you're looking for a good delay pedal, that's a great one for the price, and it gives you a lot of options. So that's just a slap back delay, and you can do that kind of stuff with it. So okay, so that's pretty much the sound. The only other thing I'm using is a Dynacomp. It's a compressor pedal from MXR, and and I don't usually use a compression, but I am for this. Just thought it tightened up the sound a little bit, but that's not necessary. You don't have to have a compression pedal. Okay, so that's pretty much it in terms of sound now, or in terms of settings. So let's talk through this little Mystery Train riff, if you will. So just as a reference, if you want to go back and listen to where some of these licks came from, there's a song Mystery Train, and the riff in that, or the kind of the rhythm part that he's playing through the verse is something like that. Now the way Scotty played it, I believe, is I think he had a thumb pick. And I think he's doing that finger style, or he's doing some hybrid picking. But I thought that was too complicated for this lesson. And to be honest, if I was playing this with a band, I would just use a pick, so I'm going to show you how to play it that way. But the way that Scotty might have played it was something like this. So you can see the thumb. So it would have been more that style. But I just thought that was a little too complicated. So here's how we're going to learn it. And this works just fine especially if you have a full band. It really sounds pretty cool, and it's a great technique to learn either way. All right, so this is played in the key of E, and so what you're going to want to do with your left hand is you're going to want to make an E chord. It's just an E major chord. I'm assuming you know how to make an E chord at this point. But so the challenge, or the part that we're going to really be breaking down, is what the right hand is doing for this. So the right hand is going to play a downstroke on the 6th string, the open E string, on the 1 and on the 3. And here's what I mean, but we're going to count it out like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you'll see why I'm doing the ands in a minute. But so we're just going to play the low 6th string, or the low E string, on the 1 and the 3 like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you can see that I'm using a downstroke for that. Now, in addition to that, we're going to play on the 2. We're going to play 1 and 2 and. So 1 and 2 and. You can see what I'm doing for the 2. I'm just taking that E chord and I'm hammering on. I'm taking my pointer finger off the fretboard and I'm hammering onto the 1st fret, 3rd string. And I'm not playing like all 6 strings, but I'm just sort of playing those middle 2 strings. So the 3 and the 4 string. So now when I do it, I kind of hit it. So every now and then I'll play 4, 3, and 2. So it doesn't have to be super precise, but the point is that you don't have to brush all 6 strings for that, because you don't have time for it really. So let's break it down again from the top. We're going to say 1. Okay, so we're going to count 1 and 2 and 3. See how that comes in on the 1 and the 3? 1 and 2 and 3. Now when we play the and of 3, so the and of 3 is between the 3 and the 4, so it's 3 and. We're going to do an upstroke with our right hand, and we're going to switch the left hand. It's going to play an A chord. And here's how I do it. I just take my middle finger, and you'll see why I'm using my middle finger. This will make more sense to you when you get into it. But it's just barring the first 4 strings on the 2nd fret. And that's really making an A chord. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to do an upstroke. And when I do that upstroke, I'm really trying to grab, strings 2, 3, and 4. More importantly, 3 and 4. But if you grab the 2 in there as well, that's fine too. But here's how it sounds if I put that together. I'll do it really slowly and I'll count it out. So we have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. You can start to feel the groove a little bit. And in the beginning, when you're new to this style of strumming, don't try and get it up to tempo. You'll get very frustrated. Just try and get it accurate. So slow it way, way down and just get it. But what makes the rhythm is coming in on the and when you do that upstroke, the and of the 3. So that's what really it creates. You're playing ahead of the beat, so you're getting there before the rest of the band. And I think it's just a simple little nuance like that. If you played it right on the beat, it would totally lose its drive. So the song that and by the way, he uses that in a lot of things, but what it's probably most famous for is called Mystery Train, and it sounds like a train. It sounds like a train rhythm. It's kind of got that driving. Now, once you get comfortable with it, in the beginning it'll sound very robotic. But the thing to watch is your right hand, because what your right hand is doing, it's kind of creating its own little groove. And once you get comfortable with the groove and being able to play the left hand, your right hand can start to. You can start to improvise a little bit around it. So you're still trying to hold true to that coming in on the 1 and then, on the 2 and then on the and of 3. Those pieces have to stay consistent. But you can work in a few other little ditties in between if you wanted to. Now, I did not do that in the intro. I'm just kind of diverting a little bit, but if I were playing this with a band, for example, I probably would stray a little bit. You get excited, and that's what happens. But so that's the rhythm. You can feel it, and it's weird because it's the same thing over and over again, but for some reason it doesn't get old. It doesn't, at least not to me. It doesn't feel like it's like, all right, move on to the next thing. And I think it's because of that coming in on the end of the 3. It creates that little bit of tension that keeps it interesting. You kind of want to know what's coming next, even though you sort of know what's coming next. It's weird dynamic. Let me think if there's anything else I need to throw in about that rhythm. I don't think so. So we're going to move on to the A part now. So, by the way, so I do that for the E part, and I think I did it 8 times. Here we go. Then I came up to this A 7th chord. Now, when I'm playing this A part, what I did was I took a lick that I heard in "That's All Right, Mama," and so when it's actually happening right as the lyric is saying, "That's all right, Mama." So if you listen to that song, go on Spotify or whatever, if you've got the album, listen to when Elvis is saying "That's all right, Mama." You'll hear what Scotty's doing in the background, and he's playing something like that. Now, for copyright reasons, I don't want to ever take and show you everything about a song, or I'll get in trouble. But little licks like that are okay. So I'm trying to, pull licks from different pieces, and then put them into their own composition. So anyway, so what I'm doing for the A part is I'm barring here on the 5th fret, and then I'm pushing down. Well, let me start it this way. If you make an A bar chord, just an A major bar chord, and so all you're doing is making an A major bar chord, and then you're removing your pinky. When you remove your pinky, you get an A 7th chord. See how it has that kind of, so there's the major. You can hear just by taking the pinky off, you get this nice kind of 7th. And it's a very subtle thing, but I think it makes it sound much better for something like this. So that's all I'm doing. So it's barring 5th fret, and then my middle finger is down on the 6th fret 3rd string, and my ring finger's down on the 7th fret 5th string. So I'm coming up here and playing, and I'll get into the strumming in just a minute, but that's what the left hand is doing. And then what I do is I do another voicing of the A chord, but up here. Now, I covered this in maybe 2 lessons ago, explaining about how you can take a major chord, like if you're doing a bar chord, and you can, if the bar is here and so your ring finger's here, you can skip this fret and you can come up here and play a D chord basically, and be playing a higher version of that chord. That's a nice little trick to always remember. So if you're playing a G chord, skip this fret, come up here. So you can, that gets you a real quick way to go, to jump up and play it a little higher. And so you start getting into the Steve Cropper thing, and just it opens a lot of doors when you can think that way. But back to the A. So we play the A 7th, then I come up here and it's just a D chord. You know how to make a D shape, but we're making it up here on the 9th fret. So our middle finger's on the 9th fret 1st string, pointer finger's on the 9th fret 3rd string. So those two are on the 9th fret. And then our ring finger goes down on the 10th fret 2nd string. And we're only going to play those top 3 strings. That's another little myth too, and I've mentioned this before, but I thought to make chords you had to kind of be covering a lot more bass. You had to be playing like all 6 strings, or at least 5 of them. But you can play chords with just 3 strings. It's still a chord. So just think that way. You don't have to, that doesn't limit you. That opens more possibilities, because now you can play up and down the neck. And that's how guitar players do that. When you see them strumming rhythms, higher on the neck. When we first learned to play, we learned down here in the 1st position. And then it can be frustrating when you see guitar players just kind of jamming all over the neck. But that's how they're able to do it, or one of the ways is to play chords that way. So Anyway, we're back to this A chord. So that's another way to make an A chord. And here's what I did. I went. So I'm going, the strumming pattern is down, up, down, up. And you can see what I'm doing is I'm taking my pinky and putting it down on the 12th fret first string for that upstroke. So I'm going down, up, down, up, down. Down, up, down, up, down. So and that's the alright, lick. And that's something that's, it probably looks like I'm really stretching here, but it's not. It's pretty easy to do once you do it a few times. So the strumming pattern on the A part, it goes, so it's just, I start by hitting just the low 6th string, and then do a downstroke, and then go, that's up, down, up. So let me do it slowly. And if you were to loop that, it would sound like this. Okay, so that's how we do the A part. Now, let me put the two pieces together so we have it all sort of succinct. So we have the, and I'll play through the whole, all 8 parts of the E part. So here we go. Now we're back to the E. This time 4. Now we go to a B7th chord, which goes. And for the B7th chord, all I'm doing is just playing it straight up, down, or straight down in the first position there. Middle finger down on the 2nd fret 5th string, pointer finger down on the 1st fret 4th string, ring finger down on the 2nd fret 3rd string. And then I add my pinky on the 2nd fret 1st string. So I'm playing this B7th like that. And I'm using the same strum pattern, by the way. Remember when I showed you the A, where we go play the bass note or the 6th string, and then we go 1 downstroke, and then we go up, down, up. I'm doing the same thing here. See? But this time, if you listen to the jam track, the B part, or the B7th part, would play through twice. So you'd have 4 counts of it. So you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. But instead of just keep staying on that chord, I thought that was too boring. So the first time through, I did stay on the chord, but the second time, I did this little solo part, I guess. And I thought it gave it kind of a rockabilly thing. And actually, I heard Scotty Moore play a solo where when it went to the B part of the song, he started it here, and I can't remember what song it was. Something like, he kind of went up the neck like that. But so I took the first part of that, and then instead of kind of keeping going, I just went to keep it simple. So let me show you those notes. We're going to start here on the 2nd fret 5th string. Now this is important to do to really get the picking down so that you can do it quickly. This is how it was easiest for me. I started here, and then I just slid, instead of playing like that and then going to my ring finger, I went ahead and took my pointer finger and slid it up to the 4th fret 5th string. So we start here, and then we slide the whole thing up to here. And once I'm on the 4th fret 5th string, watch this, I can go. So So it's just a straight walk on the 5th string. So we're going 4th fret, 5th fret, 6th fret. And notice the right hand, it's up, down, up. Now we can go up to the string above it. That's the 4th fret, 4th string. Then the 6th fret, 4th string. So let's back up. Now we have. That's the first part of that you're going to want to learn. Now, if you're new to playing solo style or single string lead stuff, that might be hard in the beginning, but just practice it over and over again. All of a sudden it'll just sort of click with you. Now, after that, then I went. And for that, it's just a hammer-on pull-off little trick. And that I got kind of, I guess I learned how to do it from Eric Clapton, because he uses that kind of stuff a lot. But all I did for that was it's going between the 4th fret and the 6th fret, but this time we're on the 3rd string. So we're going to start on the 4th fret, 3rd string, and then watch this. So watch what I'm doing. I'm just picking that once. You can see that after I pick it, I do a hammer-on, a pull-off, and a hammer-on. So the first hammer-on is on the same string. It's on the 3rd string. We go to the 6th fret. We do a pull-off. And you can see with a pull-off, it's just kind of flicking the string. And then that time I did a hammer-on, but it was on the 4th fret, 4th string. So when you put it all together slowly, it sounds like that. And over time you'll be able to do that quicker, but that's what I'm doing for that. So after that hammer on there to the 6th fret, 4th string, I come down and play the 4th fret, 4th string, and then the 6th fret, 5th string. And that's the whole little piece. Pretty simple. It sounds hard because it sounds like it's really fast. But once you get kind of the groove going, you'll be able to do that and be able to do it up to tempo. So after the so let me back up. So we're almost done with this. So we have. Let's play through the whole thing. We have. Now back to the E. And then we do the B7th again for the turnaround. Now, typically, Scotty Moore would not do a turnaround like that. It's too predictable, too obvious. You don't really hear that kind of stuff, at least in the old Elvis songs. But I thought it was good to divert a little bit because it helped define the jam track. So that when I first did the jam track, I didn't have that turnaround. That's what I mean by the turnaround, throwing in that B7th chord. And it wasn't as obvious. You could get lost in it pretty easy. So I think it just helps you as you're learning to get these techniques down. It was helpful to my ear to hear that B7th change. So okay, now it's resetting. Now it's going back to the 1. If without that, if you missed it, it's sort of like you could miss the whole thing. So that's why I added that in there. So the last time through, it's just the E part. And then the B7th comes in right there. So here's the timing of that. So you can see that B7th just kind of jumps in really quickly there. And that's really all there is to it. Now, the second part, I go right into all the kind of chord / solos. It's Scotty Moore was great at doing that, playing solos with chords. But I'm going to save that for the second part. Now, if you're a premium member, you can go on, and I mentioned this in the intro, but it's activemelody.com and look for EP073, and you'll be able to watch the second part. If you're not a premium member, I encourage you to go check it out. It's very affordable, and it's something that I don't think you're going to find a better value out there. And that sounds a little braggadocious, but I really believe that. I'm not a big company or anything, so I'm able to keep prices really, really affordable. So go check it out if you haven't. All right, so one last time, let me play through everything. I'll do it slowly so you have this as a reference, and that'll be it for this week. Here we go.